All right, so we're back here on another project. We're in Manahawkin, New Jersey. We are on day number 3 and there. All right, we're back here in Manahawkin, New Jersey. We are on our, damn, I said that wrong. We're back, we'll do it over. All right, we're back with another project, Vetty. All right, we're back. We're back on another project in Manahawkin, New Jersey. This project, we're actually on day 3. Homeowners had a couple of brand new Coffered ceilings installed on this project. We actually spent the past couple of days caulking, putting, wood filling, sanding, making sure everything was set nice and smooth. We don't want to see any imperfections in there. This morning, we actually sprayed everything with the primer and just waiting for the primer to dry. And we're going to be spraying the final finish on in a little while. I always like, me as the painter, like being the last contractor in. This way, when we come in, we can finish everything. There's no jumping over this guy or coming back for that. What I did with this client is we were in touch throughout the entire process of the renovation. You know, just keep me updated. Okay, I had the electrician in, the plumber is coming next week, the carpenter is done with this. This way we can actually get a good timeline and actually get them on a good set schedule. I get it, with renovations, there's always things that happen, things get pushed back, but I do try to have that communication with the homeowner to make sure we are on schedule and that we do have that time. We do have that time slotted for them. So before we put the final finish on this Coffered ceiling, there is a lot of prep work that goes into it. All these beams, the crown, all the joints, everything, they have to be caulked in. They're caulked, wiped with a wet rag to make sure there's no gobs or just term boogers or whatever in the corners. All the nail holes, they are filled with putty, and then we would fill over them with either a wood filler or the Bondo glazing putty. Then sand them down this way. Everything's nice and smooth. I'm sure you've been in homes where you see the trim, but you can see like the little dimples from the nails. We're going for a clean, high-end finish on this job, and that's what the customer wanted. Again, I say it all the time, prep, prep, prep. It's a ton of prep goes into this. I had, 2 days of prep into, this is just one of them. So there's a bigger one over there, and that's just, it's a lot of work. Obviously, we have plastic going down because we're just spraying the ceilings in here. This is the entrance in the foyer. All these stairs, posts, everything was refinished, resurfaced. So all this was bare wood. We had to put an oil primer on everything, sand it down, and we're actually going to start applying the semi-gloss to it soon. Same with the post. Everything was sanded down real smooth. With this foyer area, you can see there's the butt joints from where the sheetrock is. There's a lot of light that comes in. I don't know if you can see this window. There is a huge window right here. So, there's a lot of light. So you're going to see a lot of imperfections. You're going to see a lot of, the joints and stuff like that. We want to make sure everything's right for this customer. So again, we checked everything. You can see all the spackle work that we did on the walls. I'm going to take it now over into the dining room. We come around in here, see if we can squeeze up in here a little bit. So with the Coffered ceiling, I always recommend doing a spray finish. It's an accent piece. This customer wanted a good high-end quality finish. And to do that, I want them to have the best. So we're going to spray everything. And that's the way we're doing it. That's our process. So there's nothing compared to a spray finish. So again, that is why we're doing everything in this project. Everything on this ceiling, everything is being sprayed. So when you're spraying, some of the risks you can run into if you don't do the proper prep is spraying. There's no forgiving. There isn't. It's, you spray the surface and that's what you get. You get a nice smooth finish. So if you have imperfections, if you have divots from your nail where it was nailed in, or if you don't, if you got gobs of caulk or this or that, it's going to highlight everything. It's not, sometimes you can hide that stuff a little bit with the brushing and the rolling. When you spray, you don't. You got to make sure everything is flawless. So again, we spent 2 days sanding, caulking, puttying, wood filling, glazing. Even after we get the first coat of trim paint on, we're still going to go around and just double check to make sure everything is right and that there aren't any imperfections. It's not like that's it, it's done, whatever. We are still going to take the necessary steps to make sure everything does look flawless. Shit. All right. Yeah, it's all. All right. Yeah. Trying to make this video is not easy with the guys in the background. It's like joking and making funny faces and all. Yeah, they're gonna act like they don't know now, but yeah. Anyway, what I was saying with the primer on the ceiling, we got the primer on the ceiling, and right now what we're doing is we're waiting for everything to dry. You do not want to put the first coat of semi-gloss on, because what's happening right now is the primer is drying and all the VOCs are off gassing. So they're just basically evaporating. And if you put the semi-gloss on while it is still drying, if it's not completely dry, those gases are going, that semi-gloss is going to seal over the primer, and that gas has nowhere to escape. So you could possibly get blisters and poor adhesion. On a regular ceiling, the procedures aren't nowhere near as involved, because you don't have all the trim and this and that. It's, you know, basically just checking for any drywall repair needs. This, however, is much more involved. I mean, first off, it's an accent piece. This is one of the first things people look at when you come into your home. The reason people want coffered ceilings in their house is because these are accent pieces. They want their ceilings to pop. They want, when their company comes over or this or that, they want it to be the focal point. And obviously, if it's a focal point, we want it to look flawless for you. We don't want to just have you do all this work and then we slap paint on it. It's like, ugh, you know, we want it to look amazing. So when we first walk into the room, there's a few things I try to evaluate even before we start spraying. Like first and foremost is, can the room first be sealed off? Like you see, like, because we're just spraying the ceiling in here. So obviously we don't want overspray going throughout the house and on everything. So we want to make sure everything is sealed off. So you can see, I'm sure you see the drops and everything on the floor. They just had brand new floors installed. So I mean, there is actually export on all the floors, but we do have drops on top. Just, I know it's probably overkill, but listen, homeowner was very adamant, like the floors are brand new. I'm like, listen, this is what we're gonna do. It put the homeowner at ease. That's the main thing. I just wanna make sure they feel comfortable. I don't want him being this or that, but it definitely gave him a peace of mind. So if you do have brand new floors in your home, we can definitely start a painting project after, and I do recommend doing that anyway, but we are going to take the necessary steps to make sure everything is protected. All right, so right now we're back in the entrance, and you can see he's cutting in the walls and everything up there. And yes, I have somebody footing this, again, because there's paper on the floor. We do have drops. I don't want the ladder sliding out, especially on projects that have taller ceilings or hard to get to areas. We want to make sure we are working safely. And this is something that normally I would bring in my rolling scaffolding or whatever, but if you can see, there's a huge chandelier right here. So we are doing everything off a ladder, and being that there are paper and drops on the ladder, I want somebody footing this just in case, because I don't want anybody falling or the ladder kicking out. So geez, I couldn't even imagine. We're starting to work on the staircase as well, getting the stringers, the risers, posts, all that stuff done. You can see like the filler and everything. All this again was primed with an oil primer, because it all was bare wood. So even with the posts, they were bare wood poplar. So not that they're real knotty or anything, but still we want to make sure they're sealed in real good. So when we put the semi-gloss finish on them, they're not dulled down. So we did oil prime everything. You can use oil primer, you can use a bin primer. We actually use oil primer on these. Did a light buff to make sure we get all like the texture and everything out. And now we have a nice, good, solid surface foundation to get the semi-gloss on. And it'll level out and have a nice sheen at the end. Even with the risers, there is still a process that we do. You know, like I said, we sand everything down, or put the oil primer on, sand everything down, check for the imperfections. We're going to get a coat on, and then if we have to go back and see any imperfections after that, go back, hit them, and then just make sure they're solid. So this is the last area of the project. You can notice, again, we have the rosin paper on the floors. Got a coat of paint on the doors and the trim already. If you notice, even with the rosin paper, we make sure it goes into the room a little bit. This way, it's not just right to the edge. We want to make sure everything is protected. A little bit of repair work on the drywall. So these walls, we are actually changing colors. They are going with, I believe it's been more pale oak on everything. We're going to be doing a matte finish and everything. It's going to lighten everything up, brighten it up. I actually like pale oak a lot. It does give a nice airy look to it. So lastly, what I want homeowners to feel and what they see when they look up at their new coffered ceiling is, okay, I definitely got what I paid for. It's not just, you know, I got this great accent piece and there's a horrible finish on it. They're going to be, okay, I get it. That looks absolutely amazing. I want to be blown away. Let me ask you guys, what videos do you want more of? Do you want more videos of me showing you the processes that we take? Do you want more educational videos? Do you want more informational videos? Do you want more videos of me making an ass out of myself? So let me know. Drop a comment in the in the comment section. I'm Jeremy, owner of Link Custom Painting. Check us out on all the channels, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and I'll see you guys on the next project.